AAPAC speaks out. Maybe happy endings casting controversy. Broadway's latest casting decision has ignited a firestorm of controversy, leaving many to ask, is representation truly being prioritized, or are we taking a step backward? The Tony Award-winning musical Maybe Happy Ending recently announced that Andrew Barth Feldman would replace Darren Criss in the role of Oliver. While this might seem like a routine casting change, it's anything but. Here's where it gets controversial. Oliver, a character previously portrayed exclusively by actors of Asian descent, is now being handed to a non-Asian actor. This shift has sparked outrage among Broadway's Asian American artist community, who see it as a missed opportunity to uphold cultural authenticity and representation. The Maybe Happy Ending controversy isn't just about one role. It's about the broader implications for diversity in theater. Set in South Korea and written by Will Aronson and Hugh Park, the musical initially made waves by casting 6 of its 7 principal roles with AANHPI, Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander actors. This was a groundbreaking move, offering AANHPI performers rare leading and supporting roles on Broadway. But with Feldman's casting, critics argue that the show is now setting a different precedent, one that downplays cultural specificity and erases opportunities for a historically marginalized group. And this is the part most people miss. The creators of Maybe Happy Ending have defended their decision by pointing out that Oliver is a robot, theoretically allowing for colorblind casting. In a statement, they emphasize the story's universal themes of connection and humanity, stating, "We're proud to continue embracing infinite and exciting possibilities in casting." But is this argument enough? Critics counter that while the character's identity as a robot might technically allow for flexibility, the show's setting in South Korea and its predominantly Asian cast make cultural representation a critical factor. The backlash has been swift and powerful. Tony-winning actor B.D. Wong took to Facebook to express his disappointment, stating, "Asian actors don't buy this. They don't accept it, frankly, because by now they've been to Korea. They know that blossoming in that Korea is respect and validation." Wong's post has since garnered over 1,000 signatures in support. Meanwhile, Tony nominee Conrad Ricamora has channeled his frustration into action, launching the Right to Be There scholarship for male actors of Asian descent pursuing performance degrees. The fund has already raised over $47,000, with Ricamora himself contributing $18,000. The Asian American Performers Action Coalition, AAPAC, a Tony-winning advocacy group, has also weighed in, expressing profound disappointment in the casting decision. In their statement, AAPAC highlights the irony of the situation. Though we have long been expected to view white stories populated by only white actors as universal, stories about people who look like us that are populated by people who look like us are rarely considered universal enough. This sentiment echoes a broader frustration with the industry's tendency to whitewash roles, a practice that harkens back to the days of yellowface. But here's the bigger question. In an era where representation is celebrated more than ever, why are we still grappling with these issues? As AAPAC aptly puts it, this is a time when we need more intentionality, not less. The fight for narrative justice and equity is far from over, and Maybe Happy Ending's casting decision serves as a stark reminder of the work that remains. What do you think? Is the casting of Andrew Barth Feldman a step backward for representation? Or is it a valid exercise in creative freedom? Let us know in the comments. This is a conversation that deserves to be heard. Why Oliver, in Maybe Happy Ending, should remain an Asian role? Imagine a moment that stirs both pride and controversy. A scenario that challenges what many believe to be a settled issue. Andrew Barth Feldman, whose heartfelt performance in Dear Evan Hansen won Voices on Broadway, is set to step into the role of Oliver in Maybe Happy Ending at the Belasco Theater starting September 2nd. sharing the stage with his real-life partner, Helen J. Shen, who portrays Claire. Their onstage chemistry is expected to be electric. Despite the exciting prospect and Andrew's undeniable talent, this casting decision raises some pressing questions. At its core, this isn't simply about casting a skilled actor. It's about maintaining an essential cultural connection. It's noteworthy because this will be the first instance of a white actor assuming the role of Oliver on Broadway. But here's where it gets controversial. Oliver isn't a generic role. He is the heartbeat of a musical that is richly infused with Asian culture, originating from Korean artists, set in a futuristic Seoul, and originally staged in South Korea. The identity of Oliver is inextricably linked to this cultural backdrop. When Darren Criss, who proudly represents his Filipino heritage, first embodied Oliver on Broadway, his casting wasn't a mere artistic decision. It was a powerful statement. Criss's performance brought grace, depth, and nuance to the character, earning him the historic distinction of becoming the first Asian American actor to win the Tony Award for Best Leading Actor in a Musical. That moment resonated deeply with audiences, the theater community, and Asian performers who seldom see themselves reflected in such prominent roles. Yet now, with Andrew Barth Feldman stepping into the role, the legacy of that breakthrough moment seems to be quietly rewritten. Let's be clear, this critique isn't a knock on Andrew's abilities. There is every reason to expect an emotionally rich and genuine portrayal from him. However, the issue here transcends individual talent. It's about preserving a space that holds immense cultural importance. Some argue that Oliver, being a robot by the script's logic, is a character who could be interpreted by anyone. They remind us of early workshop sessions when performers of various racial backgrounds tackled the role, and they even point out the script never specifically addresses race. But this perspective, while technically correct, misses a crucial point. Representation is about more than mere casting possibilities. It is about honoring the emotional and cultural significance of a character. Once Maybe Happy Ending reached Broadway, it evolved into something greater than its developmental iterations. The original cast, reflecting the show's Asian roots and creative voice, transformed the role, setting expectations and benchmarks that cannot simply be ignored. When a role becomes iconic through the performance of an actor of color, it raises the question, should such a role then be considered universally adaptable regardless of race? Or is it that a character's cultural context should continue to guide casting decisions? As someone with a Korean background, watching Maybe Happy Ending was an experience filled with deep pride, a rare feeling when seeing a narrative so intimately derived from Korean culture succeed on such a grand stage. The performance resonated with me, making me feel seen and validating a cultural identity that is too often marginalized. For many, this casting decision is felt on a personal level, and understandably so. Broadway has yet to become truly race-blind, especially for roles like Oliver that carry significant cultural weight. Asian American actors continue to champion for substantial, leading roles that provide authentic representation. When a production once celebrated for highlighting this representation shifts the role to a white actor, it can feel like a step back rather than forward, contradicting the momentum built by pioneers like Darren Criss. This isn't about closing doors or gatekeeping talent. It is about upholding the legacy and cultural responsibility that came with the role. Darren Criss's groundbreaking performance set a precedent, and that standard should continue to be met consistently. Oliver, as a character steeped in Asian cultural heritage, ought to be portrayed by an Asian actor, not merely as an occasional nod, but as a steadfast commitment to equity, respect, and cultural authenticity. This benefits not only the culture that originated the story and the actor who helped bring it to Broadway, but also the audiences who have long awaited genuine representation in major roles. So, While the casting of Andrew Barth Feldman might not be a reflection on his abilities, it undeniably represents a departure from a critical milestone in representation. Does this shift signal progress or a setback in our ongoing conversation about representation on stage? We invite you to share your thoughts. Do you believe the role of Oliver should remain anchored in its cultural origins, or is this change a natural evolution of theater? Your opinions and debates are what make these discussions both lively and essential. Andrew Barth Feldman joins Broadway's Tony-winning Maybe Happy Ending as Oliver. In a surprising turn of events, Andrew Barth Feldman is stepping into the spotlight to replace Darren Criss in the hit Broadway show Maybe Happy Ending. This bold move has theater enthusiasts buzzing with excitement and anticipation. Starting from September 2nd, Feldman will grace the stage of the Belasco Theater, taking over the role of Oliver for a limited engagement that runs through November 1st. Criss, who originally brought Oliver to life, will bid farewell to the character on August 31st. What makes this casting even more intriguing is that Feldman will be starring alongside his real-life partner, Helen J. Shen, who portrays Claire. Joining them on stage are talented actors Des Duron and Marcus Choi. Rounding out the ensemble cast are Stephen Hewen, Hannah Kevitt, Daniel May, Christopher James Tamayo, and Claire Kwan, who provide depth and versatility as the understudies. Maybe Happy Ending is a captivating musical penned by Tony Award winners Will Aronson and Hugh Park. Under the masterful direction of Tony Award recipient Michael Arden, known for his work on Parade, this production promises to be a feast for the senses. With stunning set and video designs by Tony Award winner Dane Laffrey, exquisite costumes by Clint Ramos, mesmerizing lighting by Ben Stanton, and impeccable sound by Peter Hylinski, every element comes together to create a truly unforgettable experience. Add to that the video wizardry of George Reeve, and you have a show that is visually breathtaking. Music supervision by Deborah Abramson and direction by John Yoon ensure that the melodies soar and the harmonies resonate. But here's where it gets interesting. Maybe Happy Ending was awarded the prestigious 2025 Tony Award for Best Musical, cementing its status as a must-see theatrical gem. Critics raved about the show, with one reviewer from Theater Mania describing it as a balm for trying times, praising its undeniable charm and warmth. It's a show that not only entertains, but also touches the heart, leaving audiences feeling uplifted and inspired. And this is the part most people miss. While Maybe Happy Ending has received universal acclaim, some argue that its themes of love and connection might be too simplistic for today's complex world. But isn't that what we need sometimes? A reminder of the simple joys and the power of human connection in a chaotic world. We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Is Maybe Happy Ending a breath of fresh air or a missed opportunity to delve deeper into the complexities of modern relationships? Let us know what you think.